That's a good point why we should not have them, and that's a good point because those sick, rotted people will try to kill you.
More awake.
Eric, has the caller listened to stuff on Molyneux?
I've listened to him.
Larry.
Yes, I have listened to him. Yes,
have you listened to his everyday?
It's full of crap. Yes, I've listened to him.
Okay, so you understand that when you make your choices in your home, you do it void of government, do you not?
I do it because the government says I have a constitutional right to do so. Do I not?
Yeah, you have the right to do so, but what I'm saying is when you do so, you do it void of government, do you not?
Right.
No, I am the government in my own household.
Okay,
let's get into semantics. We might try to use different words here. You don't argue over semantics.
I'm doing back at you what you're trying to do to me. And you can't handle it, and you try to do things
Larry, listen,
this is me talking. That was Jason here. I'm just saying,
Eric, I'm not trying to do anything to Larry. I respect his.
I know. I understand. I was talking. Well, no. It's all cool,
but
bro.
You're nitpicking on anarchy in a household. It's not the same as far as if you do have anarchy in a household, you're going to wind up having kids that are nothing but brats, and you're going to visit them in prison. Okay?
Anyway,
and
Mr. Crumpton's on the line. I'm going to let him in. I'm going to let Mr. Crumpton on the line.
All right.
Daniel, how you doing, brother?
How's it going, Mr. Crumpton? How are you doing?
That must be Mr. Patrick that bullhorned me.
Yes, that was.
Mr. Bell.
How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you guys?
Good. We were just getting into our Constitution versus Anarchy debates, which I don't know if you've heard it, if you're listening on that. And, yes, welcome to the program.
Oh, well, thank you. Who on the line was? I gotta say hey to everybody. Who's on the line?
I believe Jason, you know that. Sabrina, I believe Congressman Hill is soon to be congressman is here. And I have our guest Larry, who stumbled in here. We've been having a chat with him as well. Hi, Larry. Okay. And before we continue, I guess I have to go to our last break real quick. So,
yes,
you did. So we'll just go sit tight real quick.
All right, man. Go ahead and pitch
Hello
your
again, Freedomist Proof is here.
Anyway, he's here. Daniel Crumpton. And yes, we're kind of getting a very heated anarchy versus Constitution Constitution debates. And I guess we can probably start up and ask what's your take on that, Mr. Crumpton?
Well, I mean, I make no bones about it. I'm a constitutionalist. However, I do believe that the Constitution was, it wasn't a legal document. It was everybody knows I believe it was a spiritual document. When you really look at what the Founding Fathers put together, they did put up a society that was based on voluntarism. But, like they also said on the steps of the Capitol building, what have you given us? We've given you a republic if you can keep it. If people don't understand that what the Founding Fathers actually gave us was a voluntary society, if you really boil it down, they did. So whenever you say, what's the distinction between constitutional and anarchy, I say there is no distinction between the two. What the Founding Fathers essentially set up was that, all of your rights are given to you from a supreme being, however you understand that supreme being. If you have a personal connection with that supreme being, and however you understand that connection, it overrides anything that the state can really write. Are you following me?
Oh, I hear you, but and of course we've kind of mentioned this a little bit earlier on we talked about this at the No War in Syria rally in Atlanta a little bit. But I would have to disagree with you because obviously just the history and how it came to be, which they're just supposed to just amend the Articles of Confederation. So and so it didn't come upon the citizenry or the populace. I won't use that word. Thanks to you, I kind of learned what that word actually means. But so it's imposed on the populace involuntarily, and of course, it didn't recognize the rights of other individuals that were in it, such as the black people, and of course, it gives it the power to steal. It gives it for an individual to steal from people. So I would disagree with that, but it is, of course, I would, of course, mention the Constitution because when people realize that that people are not, the government's not following these limitations that are, supposed to upset them, supposed to limit them, that might get people's wheels turning, and they're thinking, well, maybe it's not a very good idea to give anyone the monopoly on coercion. And they will, of course, just ignore whatever laws, whatever limitations you do put on them.
Well, Eric, let me ask you this. Do you have a driver's license?
A driver's license? Currently, no, I do not.
All right. Or is it expired, suspended? I mean, what's the status of it?
It's suspended for, right now it's suspended. I'm going to be getting, right now just weighing that of, renew, but anyway, what about it?
Okay, well, let me frame it this way. Whatever the situation is with your driver's license, do you intend to rectify it with the state and get a brand new driver's license? Is that something that you're going to voluntarily do?
Well, that is kind of well, you make a very good point about when you talk about the Real ID legislation that does do, but for the purposes, of course, that does seem like which would really set me back if I do not have a mode to actually allow to go run freely. I mean, there are some ways where you do have to set your line, though. But
okay. And so, whenever your situation is done, do you intend to get a driver's license or anything with the Real ID, or are you just going to not comply? Is essentially what I'm asking.
Well, the moment I probably might look like that might be where I might end up doing, but it's if I can at least I don't know right now, but I don't know. We all do have to go of our lines. The lines we do have to draw, as Michael Bernard did say.
Eric.
Yes, go ahead.
Can I introduce Daniel Lewis Crumpton?
Sure, go ahead.
Daniel Lewis Crumpton is the producer of ZenonTheCar.com and Zen on the Car TV. He is an activist, and he reaches out to other activists and tries to activate them in this process of I don't know, if you want to call it constitutionalist or volunteerist. I know there's some digressing things here, but Daniel Lewis Crumpton is working it from every level. So, I just wanted to make sure that our callers knew he is Zen on the Car TV. He is ZenonTheCar.com.
Okay.
You're making me blush, brother.
No. He's also an author, by the way, which will give him some time to promote his book towards the end of the segment. No.
Let me go ahead and say this while we go ahead and we have our lips chapped to each other's asses. I will say we have Jason on the line and Sabrina. I know that, and I just want to go ahead and say, most people know us as ZenonTheCar.com and Zen on the Car TV crew, but I want to let everybody who's listening know, we are not just doing this because of whatever motive people may think. We are truly, what you see is what you get. We are very close. We're a very close-knit group. We all are true believers. All of us have had so many sacrifices for the cause of liberty and freedom, activism, and I love each and every one of these guys, and they have saved my life on several occasions, and we're a family, and I want people to understand that we're a family, and that, this family motto is that, I don't know if we can pin a motto on it, but I'm going to tell you, having gotten to know Curtis and Jason and Sabrina, we believe in this movement that we're all a part of. We really do believe, and we're not.
CSF.
Do what now?
Hey, Chris Hill, CSF.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Don't forget me, Coach.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, getting back to that, yeah, I mean, the stories we could tell you guys about how me and Chris, got together in the CSF with Teams In, it's really too amazing and too phenomenal to really describe in words. But I look back at what the Founding Fathers said, whenever you read about the Revolution, they say that, there was a divine providence that was guiding the situation. And having done what we've done the past couple of years, the four of us, we've done it on a wing and a prayer. We really have. And there is no doubt that what we are doing is being led by divine providence. I believe that. And I think they do too.
Right.
Sabrina's still on the line there, Daniel.
Go ahead. I mean, she could tell you. I mean, there's two aspects to what we do. There's the political and there's the spiritual, and we try to build a bridge between the two. Some people can't
one
take
of the
that.
things I think is important to mention is that the whole reason there's this push to squash Christianity, to squash spirituality, is because they know that was part of the founding process, that was what led the Founding Fathers to do what they do. So if they can crush those people right off the bat, they know that there's no chance in creating a following. So, and that was along the lines of what I was talking about, is reinstilling the faith in people. You can't let people fall into atheism and lose their belief that there's something powerful here. You don't have to believe in God. You don't have to believe in one creator. You have to know that we are all part of this earth, and in being part of this earth, we all share one common goal, and that is to coexist as peacefully as possible. And when you have these people come into power that try to crush that idea, it turns the world into turmoil, and that's where we're at right now. People are in turmoil. They need their faith restored.
You're saying your rights end when they infringe on mine. And I'm going to go ahead and hang up real quick, but I just want to say with regards to the Constitution versus the anarchists, over 200 years, people have died defending the Constitution, without splitting hairs or getting into semantics. None, as far as I'm aware of, have ever died for the cause of anarchy. That's not to say that when the situation arises, if we have a breakdown in society and the Constitution weighs in the balance, and it does become a situation where we're in a state of anarchy, then I will abide by the laws of anarchy, but I will not be defending anarchy itself. I'll be playing by the rules in order of anarchy to restore the Constitution. But that's just me, and I just want to sign off. Chris Hill, appreciate you guys having me on, and if you guys get a chance, go to facebook.com/groups Middle Georgia Militia, and or democracy.com/Christopher Hill 2014. Appreciate it, Eric, and sending the car TV.
Hey, good looking out, Chris, man. You all have a good time at FTX, CSF. Hoorah.
Hoorah.
Yes. All right. I guess that was Chris Hill, everybody. He sounds like he's a real good guy. If, like I said, if voting's your thing, I would check him out. I should have worked some type of interview with him. Later, give him a whole 2 hours, and we'll get to his platform. But yes.
Thank you.
But yeah. Sorry, you were about to say something? Hello?
I think it was Sabrina. Sabrina was still going.
No, I'm good.
No, man, I want to hear more.
That
That was getting deep. I like that.
Hey, Eric, I wanted to say, Curtis is out working a campaign right now, and he's a volunteerist. So you got a volunteerist in Curtis Sermons that is biting his lip, doing what he does, out there trucking on a campaign that he believes involves liberty. I'm not sure he's going to get time to call in, but I want to make sure, this is a Zen in the Car episode, so Curtis Sermons is one of the group, but he's out BOG right now and doing what he does, so I'm not sure he's going to call in, but I want to make sure that the listeners were aware.
Yeah.
Yes,
I do.
I'm trying to keep tabs on him, and he's trying to call in, but you have to understand something about Curtis Sermons. This guy is an activist from blood to bone, and if you don't see him on Facebook or that little green dot on Facebook, that means he's out there and he's passing out flyers. And I know he's working hard for Heath Clark, who is running for office. Somebody else who's in the Liberty Movement. But if he can edge a minute, we'd love to hear from him.
Yeah. Yes. And like I said earlier, I might. I don't take a dogmatic stance against voting. I do think it is I do really feel disgusting since after the 2012 campaign though, but like I said, if you're going to take the stance that it's immoral to vote, especially I would like it that you don't berate people that do, but because but of course just offer different solutions of things that you could fill the time and participate in the political process.
If I can take a minute, when I run into that paradigm that you're talking about, I tell people unilaterally that there was a civil rights movement in this country, and it was Dr. Martin Luther King and the Black Panthers. Okay. Now, those guys didn't get along on the surface, but I know they met privately, and I've read some articles about it, and I can't tell you which articles, but let me say Dr. Martin Luther King needed the Black Panthers, and the Black Panthers needed Dr. Martin Luther King. And they found some unity in that behind the scenes and fought that differently in front of everybody else. And so when I see the liberty movement, as we talk about, fighting for this country, I see it divided in such a way that sometimes it digresses. And I'm not that guy. Student of history, I can look at that civil rights movement that happened in this country and realize there was two factions fighting that in completely different ways. They didn't agree on the surface. But they did agree behind the scenes, and that's kind of what I'm going for.
Yeah. Like the same way, like Stefan Molyneux Martin Luther King needs Black Panthers. Same way, I guess Stefan Molyneux needs Christopher Cantwell or Larkin Rose or those. And there are different, more than just two factions fighting, or than the liberty movements.
Yeah, but Eric, how do you unify? Is there a way? I guess I'm trying to figure out, is there a way to unify factions? I see the factions that you're talking about, but how do you unify? How do you unify? You can't unify the Ben Mahalskis of the world with the working in the Rand Paul
or the Bill Greens or. Well,
right.
The one point I tried to bring up at which I touched on in my first episode, and I tried to bring up in my interview with Derek Grayson, and he got a little bit, he started getting a little bit pissed off because apparently him and Christopher Cantwell had a little bit of history together, but that's all he heard me when he mentioned his name.
I listened to both your episodes, and I'm going to tell you what, the Roy Baker episode was awesome. I didn't like the I would invite your listeners to go back and listen to the Roy Baker episode. And there's some interesting, technical difficulties because I know it was your first show. But Roy Baker, man, I met Roy Baker. He's legit and on the record, and so I'm maybe not that guy that agrees wholeheartedly with that. I believe there's a position for government, but I still want to unify. And I think everything.
Let me go bring this real quick. What I mentioned, what I bring to say is, I was trying to reference an article last week on how infighting is a good thing. Spence.
Yeah.
Well,
I heard that. That was great.
Yeah, and and I thought it was applicable when we have two candidates like that are being supported by the liberty movement. That would be better for us right now. Be more productive instead of that we do fight, but we better publicizing rather than just sit around saying, I wish we could just get along. It's like you're hurting if you don't support him. You're hurt. You're just going to get this other status involved in. So I think from when you have these different in situations like that where we have better instead of unifying, I guess we can still recognize it. I think we should just try to. We should argue about it. We should debate it, and we should make sure it's better publicized.
I heard that. Listen, Eric, I'm on board. You're the man. You stepped up at the state convention, and I saw you. You're part of a movement that I see here in Georgia, and all I see, like I said, I see the Black Panthers and Martin Luther King. That tends to divide some people, but it doesn't divide me. I understand it and see through it, and I'm probably gonna jump off and let y'all finish.
Right. Well, before you go, you see my point is like for would it be it's like the best thing we could probably do, I guess, in that situation is I don't know. You could get we could get Ben Michalski, or we could maybe get Bill Green. We could have a public debate, give us some form, and we could just have as many produce contents for the down dirty. It's down dirty and ugly, but the thing of it is that if people will listen through the down dirty and ugly, and rather than solidify to a position, begin to understand everybody's position, and we're all moving in the same direction for the most part, and look at what unifies us and not what divides us. I'm not talking about the lesser of two evils in that situation because we've addressed that, I think so. But yeah, I'm with you on board. I'm not an anarchist per se or a volunteerist per se, but I understand the rhetoric. I understand it's moving in a direction that I would rather we move. And again, I'm going to dip off. But listen, I appreciate everything. Well, you sound like you're almost there, sir. Thank you for calling in, buddy. You're almost there, my friend.
I appreciate you. Hey, look at ZenInTheCar.com. Zen in the Car TV. We'll be at the Senate debate. I'll invite everybody. I'm going to be at the Senate debate in Savannah, Georgia this weekend. There's a Constitutional Security Force this weekend, and come out to Operation American Spring. Look it up, and I'm out. I appreciate it, Eric.
All right, thanks, man. All right.
Peace, Patrick.
Can I say one quick thing, real quick? You call yourself a volunteerist, and I'm not against that. But if you read what the Founding Fathers wrote in their own private writings, that do back up why they wrote the Constitution, which is a guideline for the government, rules for them to abide by, we all have a duty to take part in the government of this country, just as we all have a duty. When you see the right to bear arms, in the form of militia, the militia wasn't the National Guard per se. Militia was a group or body comprised of the citizenry, and to be regulated meant well-trained. If they could not afford a rifle, one would be provided for them, but they were all expected to take part. It was their duty as an American, okay? So my hat's off to you to be a volunteer, but the point I'm getting to is there aren't enough people that accept their duty as an American to be a volunteer. And,
and along those lines, you have to acknowledge the fact that this Constitution was originally based on an idea of self-responsibility, and everyone back then had a sense of that. We have come to a point in our lives where self-responsibility is condemned, and anybody who tries to take any self-responsibility is shunned. I mean, look at people who try to raise their own crops. They're told they can't do that. That's illegal. You have to rely on government processed foods and GMOs. Look at these people who try to have babies without getting them vaccinated. They're told you can't do that. You can't put your child in school without having vaccinations. It's come down to
you can't give your neighbor raw milk or you get put in jail.
Right.
I mean, how ridiculous is that? But that's not a constitutional government. That is this New World Order that is
neglecting our self-responsibility. You have to realize that government has put it in people's heads that anybody trying to raise a militia is absolutely crazy. Look at these TV shows that exist. People don't watch them. The majority of people don't watch them because they believe in what these people are doing. They're looking at them saying, look at these buttheads who are so foolish doing this thing. You have a whole nation that is divided by this idea.
All
need to come to Texas, you'd find there's a lot of people that are starting to think.
All right, so I only have about 7 more minutes.
7 minutes.
7 more minutes before the show. I'm going to go. I would like to give the last, since Mr. Crumpton, the producer of it, who is the founder of ZenInTheCar.com, I'd like to give him a chance to really give him this last word, so to speak, of what his intention, what his plans are for moving Zen the Car forward, and also his vision. So go ahead, Daniel.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that, and I think most people know that what I'm really committed to is I'm of the understanding there's a revolution going on in this country and in this world, and I'm a peaceful person. I do not believe that it has to get hot or violent. I think that we can do this peacefully. I think what my goals are is, the sequence of events that brought all of us together, Patrick and Curtis and Sabrina and everything. It's too profound to really ignore, how we all came together. But it's very evident that we came together for a reason, and I believe that when these types of evolutions are ready to happen, that the Founding Father said it best, there's a divine providence. It's amazing to me that we as a team are so very, very eclectic. I mean, what we're trying to do is bring different schools of thought and different schools of spirituality and politics together for one common cause, which is freedom and liberty. In a free society, if you look at the First Amendment, in a free society, you're allowed to express worship in any way you see so fit. But we have football issues, in the news, like someone wants to put a nativity set, in front of the courthouse. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, we play football games with one another. But no, Eric, I think what we're trying to do, if we were all going to project, I think what we're trying to say is the table of liberty has room for everyone.
Right.
We want to show everyone that what we're doing is what they can do. They can do it. We are all journalists. We're all, Big Brother is watching us, but we can watch back. And what we're trying to do with ZenInTheCar.com is to show other people that what we're doing is simpatico with what they can do, and we want them to do it because, unfortunately, that's a society that we live in, a surveillance society. So we might as well utilize the tools that we do have, smartphones, things such as that, to document what they're doing.
Okay. That does sound, you're doing a very good job, and hopefully should be able to see you guys in person shortly. Looks like there's a lot of things. Jason was mentioned the American Spring. Also, there's also going to be a Bring the Troops Home rally in May. That is going to be started by Doug Craig, who is the state chair of the Libertarian Party in Georgia. So it's going to be in front of the CNN building.
I'll tell you what, Mr. Bell, we're going to be on point with that, but I do want to go ahead and say this to all your listeners. If you could, pick up a copy of Then Came the Flood. You can get that at Amazon.com, BarnesandNobles.com, BooksAndMedia.com. It is a novel that I wrote. You have to kind of glean and gold pan for some politics in there. It is in there. But I would appreciate if all your listeners would pick up a copy.
Yes. First, wanted to get into that. Anyway, but yes, I enjoyed this episode. I enjoyed this chat. Thank you all for joining me. And nice meeting you, Sabrina. Larry?
Nice meeting you.
Hope he's here. And yeah, I might probably see you sometime in the future. Maybe I might see you, Larry. We'll never know.
Appreciate what you do, Eric. Good job, man. Good looking out.
All right, thank you. All right. We're gonna go. I'm gonna go ahead and sign off. And then the friggin' top is the next.
Keep